Glandulars are the freeze-dried glands of animals, usually from either cow, pigs, or sheep, that are used in the treatment of various diseases. Personally, I'm against the use of glandulars, and I think they really should be avoided. The biggest problem we run into with glandulars is they are substitutes for the body's own production of its hormones, and therefore they can cause the glands to shrink up. To give you an example of how this occurs, if we look at people, for instance, that are taking any type of hormonal substitute, estrogen replacement therapy, for example, birth control pills, and so on, these hormones end up substituting for our own glands. When this happens, the glands become lazy and they end up shrinking up. This is because glands are like muscles. If you don't exercise the glands, they're going to atrophy. Just like if you don't use your muscles, they end up atrophying. We need to maintain our own glands, which means to stimulate the glands, keep them functioning properly rather than substituting for the glands. When we take a glandular, since we are substituting for our own body's production of that hormone, the gland will end up again becoming lazy and it's going to atrophy. You become more and more dependent on the glandular. For example, I knew a lady who was taking a glandular for her asthma. She'd been on this glandular for about 6 months. Well, after that, every time she tried to come off the glandular, she'd get immediate severe asthma attacks. Again, this is because the glandular had atrophied her adrenal glands, made her dependent on the glandular. So when she tried to come off of it, there was no corticosteroids and epinephrine being released from the adrenals to counter this allergic reaction, which asthma is an inflammatory allergic reaction. This is a great example, though, of what I'm talking about. The glandulars are going to end up atrophying the glands. We do not want to substitute for them. You want to stimulate the glands. You can do this through nutrition. You can do this sometimes depending on the gland through things like bitters or adaptogenic herbs, but you do not want to substitute for the glands.